Hi guys, I'm going to walk you through a project for this first week of PIXLR that you can do for your assignment. I decided to create this video to walk you through a project just in case you're having a hard time figuring out what you want to do. I do leave projects, especially PIXLR projects, very open so you can just be creative and have fun, but I know sometimes having that much freedom gets overwhelming. So here is my sample. This is a Banksy-inspired project using layers and the adjustments and filter tools and on the menu bar, and then some of the tools in the toolbox that we had talked about this week. This is fairly simple and easier to do than some of the bigger projects some people were attempting for this week. So here is my sample. Okay, it has a background that's a stock image from PIXLR. There's a photo of myself that I removed the background, and then there's a layer of text. And this was inspired by this Banksy, and well, several Banksys that use a quote and text, and then an image in black and white and grayscale. So I loved, this is one of my favorites ones. One original thought is worth 1,000 mindless quotings, a quote by a Greek philosopher. So to get started, okay, there are a few different ways to get started. So the first is you can use this remove background from PIXLR to remove the background in a photo you take of yourself, or you can use the mask tool in PIXLR. Because it's easier to navigate, I'm going to remove a background. So I click the Remove Background on the upper tabs. I will go to Open Image. Okay. I will go to, I know in PIXLR I downloaded a whole bunch of images of myself, and I tried to do one where I'm surfing. So actually this is kind of silly, so I'll do this one. I'm going to open my image, and it automatically removes the background to the best of the algorithm. Sometimes you have to go in and touch up, and that's okay. And sometimes you're happy with it as it is. So it does take a minute. And there we go. And I'm pretty happy with it. It got most of the background. It does have some areas where the white from the wall kind of halos, but for what I'm doing, that's okay. So I'm going to click Download, and it downloads, and I know it's result 7. So now I'm going to go up to the bar and click PIXLR E. Okay. Now, to open a file in PIXLR E, I have several different options, right? I can open something I've already worked on, but that's not what I want to do. Or for a background, I could create a new, right? I could create a new blank slate, or I can do a stock search. And I know that for my background, I need a brick wall, and I want it white this time. So I'm going to type in the search white brick wall, and I'm going to see what my options are. Now, because it's outside, I want it to be outside, and I also want to be able, I want it to be far enough away from stuff, so that one's a good one, that I can put the graffiti on it and it still will look okay. So I want something to give it a relationship. Ooh, I'm going to choose this. Even though it's not a white wall, it's far enough away, it's going to look pretty cool. So I clicked on it to open it, and it's going to open it as my background layer. I'm going to go full HD. And give it a minute, as my computer is going very slow today. There we go, it's thinking. Okay, so it is a background layer. It is locked. I can click on, in my layers tool on my right, if I click on the 3 dots, I can rename it, but I want to keep it as background. I want to unlock it just in case I need to move it. Okay? But so far, that looks really cool. Now I need to bring in the photo of myself. So I'm going to click this plus sign under background, under layers, I'm sorry. And I'm going to go to image in the middle. Now, if I didn't want to do it that way, I could also go to my layers. Remember at the menu bar, there's layers, and I could do add images layer. They both do the same thing. So it's going to let me choose my image, and I know that this is in downloads, and it's what I just downloaded. And there I am, being super silly. I zoom out. I can go to view, zoom out, or I can do control minus on the keyboard to zoom out and control plus on the keyboard to zoom in. I want to shrink this because I'm huge, right? That's not going to work. So with the toolbar, I need to make sure my arrange, this big arrow, is clicked. I am going to do a fixed scale. I'm scaling this down. So I'm going to take a corner, and I need to make sure that fixed is clicked, because if it's free, it's going to make it wonky, and scale it down to the size I want. I don't want to be huge on the wall, but I do want to be bigger than the guy in the picture. Okay. Now at this point, if I wanted to clean up the photo a little bit, I would. I need to make sure that in my layers, this is still clicked. And because I'm going to work with multiple layers, I'm going to click the three dots and change the name to me. Also, in your layers bar, when you click these three dots, you can make it transparent, right? So you could see through it, or I can keep it opaque, or I can make it a little transparent. I think I'm going to keep it all the way transparent. Okay, I can click down here and duplicate it. Okay, so I have a copy, and I'm going to kind of do something silly this time. I'm going to leave that one there, but I'm going to go to my other layer here, and I'm going in this, when the arrange icon is selected, I can flip it horizontally through the sub-menu bar. So, you know what, I'm going to switch these guys away, up, boop. Yeah, so I'm looking at the center. I'm going to move myself over a little. Ta-da! So these are two different layers in this, and I'm going to put my text in the middle. I don't know what I'm going to say yet, but I need to change this in some fashion because working with the adjustments or our tools is kind of what I wanted to do. And I know I don't want to like liquefy, which I know everyone loved. I don't want to make my eyes big. I have glasses, so that didn't really work. I don't want to fix anything. I kind of know exactly what I'm going to do is I want to make it look like a Banksy. So because I want it to look like a Banksy, I'm going to go to Adjust and Threshold. And then I'm going to just apply where it's at. Okay, now that did one layer. I need to go over to the copy, and I'm going to change this to me left. I know it sounds kind of odd that I'm changing the names, but when you have so many layers, you need to know which one is which. So now I'm at me right, and I'm going to go back to adjustment, and I'm going to go to threshold. Okay, and now I know I kept it at 128 on that side, but I want to show you what happens on the threshold scale. If I move it up, I'm darkening, right, until I can make it all a shadow, which you might use for next week's project. So what do you think the other side does? Of course, it makes areas lighter until it's all white, a white silhouette. So next week, and I was at 128, if I can't get to 128, I can click in the box, and that's why I try to remember. So with that, I just made myself into graffiti. Now, if I want to, I can also click on it and I can go to filter, and another cool thing to always add is a drop shadow. I'd probably want to do a little bit gray. Let's try that. Keep it there, opacity. I'm going to make it a little blurrier. And then if I offset it, see how the shadow's coming out from behind me? And then I might want to I want it to go down. Okay. And then I look at that and I'm like, that doesn't look right, so I'm going to cancel that and just keep it like this. So I have 3 layers so far. I have a background, I have a left side and a right side, and if I'm very happy, I can lock the layers. And what that means is if I'm on this me right side, oh, I'm on the background. If I click on the me right side, I won't be able to, it's locked. I can't do anything with it. See, it says up here, layer is locked in position, unlock me. So if I'm happy with where my layer is, I can lock it. So I might want to lock, and then you can't edit anything on that layer. So, you know, I can relock my background, so I can't move that. So now I can't move anything. Everything's locked down. So the next thing I need to do is add a layer of text. If I click the plus sign, I can click the text. I can also click down here, my toolbars, the text, and it should ask me, do I want to do a layer of text? Yep, you have to click in the photo plane, and I can say add. So I'm going to start my text. Mrs. G is awesome. Okay. So there is my text. So this would be probably like a, you know, graffiti by a student telling me how awesome I am. Now, if I look, that color that's pre-chosen doesn't work, and it's an Arial. So now I'm going to click the color, and I like the idea of a white on this wall. So let me check that. And yes, white looks a lot better on this wall. I do not want Arial. So the cool thing with PIXLR is also there is a ton of text fonts to choose from. Okay, and there's a couple that would look really cool for graffiti, right? So I'm going to make it look like it was an elementary, and I'm going to change the size. Yeah, there. So if I wanted this to be behind him, I could do a copy and a mask a layer, but we're going to do that kind of stuff later. So I'm just going to put it up there. So now I have my text, right? I can add a few things to my text, like my alignment. I still want it centered. I can choose my styles. I should be able to add a shadow. I can add a shadow. Okay, I like that gray, right? If I don't want a shadow, but I want an outline, just to be sure, I can outline it, and it keeps it in that gray. Maybe I want it a little less. Right. Maybe instead of gray, what would happen if I did a crisp black? Okay. And again, I can duplicate that layer of text, and I can delete that layer of text. But let's say I'm happy. I did everything that Mrs. G asked for. I used some adjustments, right? I played a little around with filters. I used some of my tools. I didn't select or cut anything, but that's okay. Like maybe during my experimentation time I did, but for my final project, I just wanted to make sure I had 3 layers. And here I have 4 layers. If I go to layers, I have 4 layers. Okay. I used adjustments because look, I created a graffiti, like a Banksy style graffiti of myself. I have text. I used a stock image photo. This hits the mark. This does everything that I asked for this assignment. So what you do then is you go to File, Okay? And then you go down to save, and you can use Control S just like every other program, you know, the same shortcuts. I can go to save. I'm going to save my file with my last name. You can do project 1 or you could just do Geigley 1. I'm going to save this as a JPEG. I could save it as a PNG as well. Okay, I want to save it as high resolution. Yeah, if you save it as a PNG, it's okay too. But a JPEG or PNG are the two file choices that I really want. JPEG submits better in Canvas, that's why. I'm going to hit download, okay? And it's going to save it into my downloads file. So when I'm ready to submit that file, right, I will open it and double check it. So let me double check it. And then I will take it into Canvas and submit it through Canvas. It's downloading to my PIXLR file, which has all of these images. Okay, so I need to find that. Anyway, so when you save it, open in Canvas and submit it through Canvas. But I want you to also notice that if I close this out, it's automatically still in my history. That's the awesome thing about PIXLR, is it keeps everything in its history. And I want you guys to have fun, right? I want you guys to be silly and creative. I hope that this helped. If you have any questions, make sure you email me, and I'll see you in class. Bye.